Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Test, test, test. Testing 1 2 3. Test. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2. What up, what up, what up, what up? Test, test, test. Too loud, test. Testing, test, 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 test.
just a little guy.
What up, what up? Testing 1, 2. Mic might be a little loud, but let's see. If you guys can hear me on the chat on YouTube. Go ahead and post something. Say hi or whatever. Can you hear me on the chat? Am I too loud? What's going on?
線越しの美女つながるセッション指先で描く夜のコネクション笑顔交わすマジックエンドレスのトラフィック iPhone 越しのドラマ心ファブリケの中に映るは遠くの君の面影触れられない距離も心は縮めてゲームセット人の夜も孤独を超えてネットセットつながりはブレスレット心の安全ネットからとらたらた
All right, what up, what up? Let's take this off here. Bam. And bam. We should be good. All right. Just double check here. Make sure we're good and live. Okay, looking okay. Man, I'm looking kind of big on the screen, huh? My camera's like, well, I guess it's okay. We'll roll with it. All right, guys. Let's see. Not many. I guess most people will probably just watch the replay. I know it's like an impromptu live stream, but yeah, we just launched our new LP tracker. That's gonna make sure you know exactly what's going on with your portfolio. There's nothing like it out there. And it's super easy to use. Alright, so what I got here. Well, first we got a chart of Bitcoin, right? What's it gonna do? Nobody knows. But let's see. Let's see if there's any signs here of what's going on. I've been calling since March. Once we had this run up, I took profit. You know, you can see it all in my Discord. I posted all in there. And I've just been yield farming since March. Oh, sorry, not on Bitcoin, on Ethereum. Since March, I've been farming Ethereum, essentially buying the dip, and generated a ton of yield here. And that's pretty much all I've been doing, and just waiting, stacking the yield. I will show you the performance of that in a minute on the new LP tracker tool, right? So let's see here. Should bring up my other screen, man. Here we go. Minimize that. Let's bring this over here. Cool. Yeah, so what's going on with Bitcoin, right? Let's go back to it. So we've been making lower highs, lower lows. And I've just been saying, you know, this isn't a good consolidation. At best, we would stay sideways. And at the worst, you know, we could go down in price, right? We could have came all the way down here, right? But the key sign for me was when the MACD started crossing bearish, and we started breaking under this 10 SMA on the weekly chart. And this is very healthy. I mean, look at this run. We had this big run. It was needed. We can't just keep going up and up and up and up, because then the crash is just that much more, just more brutal, right? You know, like a lot of people just want the price to continue to go up, right? And that's the beauty of providing liquidity. You can just farm the volatility and earn yields on top of it, right? So and then you take that yield and you can stack it, or you can just cash out, or do whatever you want with it, right? But what's going on now? Well, this candle here, that was that Japanese carry trade crash, quote unquote, that we had, which marked a lower low. But then over here on the 2nd of September, you know, we made a lower high. So it was a lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, but then a higher low. Doesn't mean anything. Just means to just start watching more closely, right? Look for clues. Look for clues where you can have confidence and conviction in a trade, right? Now, making a higher high, and we did close higher. I was watching this candle on Sunday, and I was like, all right, we closed higher, right? Now, that's a good point of reference. Market can trade here. It can go lower. I'm expecting us to go lower. But what I'm watching is this low here. You know, 52.5, call it. Right? Watch this low here. If we can close anywhere above this and hold, buy those dips, even for a trade, just place your stop right below it and let it ride, right? And see what happens. I'd say it's a good low risk to a high reward trade right there. Now's the time to start paying attention. A lot of people have been in apathy, waiting for price to go up. You know, people are getting tired of it. And most people that buy Bitcoin or crypto in general they're just looking to make money, right? They're just looking for the number to go up. They could cash out and leave, right? So most will be in pain waiting for the number to go up, right? And most will just capitulate through time, right? They see the stock market hitting all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs. You know, stocks are just going higher, right? And they're just looking at Bitcoin like, it's not doing anything. So they cash out and then chase that shiny object. Those are the people that lose in the long run, because they're just constantly chasing. Their horse doesn't run. They dump it. They don't care if they take a loss. Go to the next shiny thing that's at its high. Chase that. Get dumped on. Rinse, repeat, right? And that's pretty much the average mentality of the herd, right? So you can't be thinking like that. You gotta think strategically. Look for clues and look for low risk opportunities. You know, like a like a cougar or a mountain lion. Same thing, right? Cougar, mountain lion. The way they hunt, they sit on a tree branch and they just wait. Very patient, and they wait for the opportunity to come to them. And then they strike. See, what they do there is they save all their energy and they wait for that opportunity instead of running around the fields chasing rodents, looking for like small game to kill, and just doesn't work out for them, right? In the long run, they'll just spend too much energy, and by the time they find that large game to kill, they're gonna be out of energy. They'll just be out of energy, and they'll have a low probability of getting that kill, either because they're physically or just mentally tired, right? Same with trading. Too many people are trying to time this. They're like, oh man, I'm going to try to time this. They get wicked out, wick, and then they're just like, and look at this range. What is this? Recently, 64K to, say, 54K, right? A 10K range, let's say on an average of 60K. It's like a 16% range, right? On crypto, that's like nothing, dude. It's a waste of time. Now now we're getting some clues here, right? Higher low, higher high. And what's next, right? Well, look at this. On the weekly chart, MACD is trying to curl back up. Okay. Another clue, right? Just put that on the board and just watch, man. It's just like really, it's just like watching and stacking these odds in your favor. And when it's ready, you strike, right? So like I said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a pullback anywhere above this pivot right here is a buying opportunity. Below it, we might have to wait or even like base it off of this August 5th candle, right? They could sweep this low here, take out all the stops, maybe even take out those stops and then rip it higher, right? All within a week. That way the weekly candle never closes like in this level. They'll rip it down and rip it back up, right? Never know, man. It's all a game. It's you know, for lack of a better word, manipulated. So it's very important to recognize that. And just look for areas that you'll have a low risk opportunity. That's all you can do, right? You just control your risk, position size, and just let it go, right? People make trading way too complicated. All right, so what do we have here? Let's look at the daily, right? Daily is chop, man. Boom. But, you know, it's time to start watching. We'll see what happens, yeah? Ethereum. Oh, man. I'm not even like... Honestly, like, I'm not even gonna like look at Ethereum very closely until Bitcoin starts getting back on its trend and starts moving higher. Then you could look at altcoins. Like, probably, you know, charting altcoins right now while Bitcoin is still chopping around, it's kind of like wasted effort, right? Because yeah, some altcoins will run, but you don't know which ones, right? There's thousands of altcoins, right? And the odds of you catching the right one with enough size to make it worth it, it's just a tough game, right? You'll be chasing and, you know, stopping out and wicking out and trying to find, you know, it's a game of whack-a-mole, right? Trying to find that right one. So I'd say wait for Bitcoin to finally get its move. If you really want to make sure you're focusing your energy in a good manner, right? You don't want to just be wasting it. So yeah, like Ethereum, I mean, honestly, it's just looking at this chart, not until we get above 3K, you know, shouldn't even really be paying attention or worrying about it, right? Like, just wondering, okay, what is it going to do? It's probably going to chop around for a bit until Bitcoin starts going. And ETH versus Bitcoin, whew, man, that looks ugly. Just ugly, you know. We got a lot of resistance to get above, and kind of sad. But, you know, looking at the glass half full for Ethereum, you don't want Ethereum to be strong right now anyways, because that usually marks the end of a bull market, right? Like, let's look back in time here. Let's see, go back to 2020. The top was what, like November, September 2022? Look at that. That was the top of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And then that was the bear market, man. You know? This was in December 2021. Can't remember what. Let's see what Ethereum did there. December 2021. Look at that. A top. Another top. Boom. See? So, like, you see this, right? Like, usually if ETH versus Bitcoin is ripping, that means the bull market is almost over. And everyone's like, man, I just wish it would just go higher. But you don't. You don't want it to go higher, because that's marking the end of the bull market. You don't want 2633 to be the near the top of the bull market, right? We want it higher. So if Bitcoin goes higher and the ETH versus Bitcoin chart stays at 04129, right? Say Bitcoin goes to 150K, right? And if the ratio stays at 04129, the price of Ethereum will be over 6K. So think of it in that manner. Like, okay, great. I don't want Ethereum versus Bitcoin to be bullish right now. No way. I want Bitcoin to be bullish because it will drag the rest of the market with it. That's how you have to think. Everyone's so short-sighted and like want to make money right now. They just want this to hit 3K and be done with it, right? It's just like, man, that's how the average investor thinks, man. You gotta expand your horizons, right? Yes, it sucks, it's pain, whatever. But I mean, to me, this chart looks amazing, right? It's just consolidation for me, which is great because I get to yield farm this. All right, so let's see if we got anybody in the chat. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I can chat. Hey, Greg, how's it going? Can't see your screen float, just your cam. Can't see your screen float, just your cam. Oh, we can't see your screen? It's all black? Oh, it is, man. Oh, man, hold on. Shit. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it is. Haha. It's okay, man. I'm going to fix it right now. There you go. Oh, yes. Let's look at my other screen. Let's go to the other one. Boom. Okay, let's move it. God, I gotta keep that up. The OBS. We should be good now. Give it a second. Dude, thanks, Greg. Ah, man, I should have checked the chat. There we go. Woo! I mean, I think the audio was good enough for that first part, right? I mean, unless you want me to, like, go over the whole deal again, right? But I'm just talking about Bitcoin, you know, how it's been consolidating. You know what? Like, if you were watching the beginning of this, and you're like, man, it's all black, just pull up a chart of Bitcoin and on your screen, and you'll be like, oh, okay, and just listen to the audio. You'll be good. Oh, man. What am I doing, dude? I'm not a streamer, bro. You know, like this. I'm just like, I don't do this shit. I do it when I can, you know. I do it when I can, you know. So I pull it up and shit happens. I'm gonna blame my imaginary AV guy. That's what we'll do. We'll blame him. All right, man. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. You know, we got some signs with Bitcoin. We made this pivot low here, higher low, higher high. Great. Now let's see what we do. I'm expecting a pullback, and as long as we hold above here, this 52.5, it's game time, man. You gotta buy all these dips. If you're under allocated and you're like, I've been waiting for a dip, that'll be the time to buy when we get down here, if we get down there, or even DCA, you know. But I'm expecting some sort of pullback. You know, we've had this run from 52K to 66, right? So we just need consolidation, right? Not everyone's a degen in the markets, right? There's smart players that are willing to wait for a good price. So that is key. So they'll wait to get their bids filled, and they most likely will. You know, we had this big run, and it's just normal for it to rest now, but this is a great sign. So I want to see what happens in the coming weeks. We'll see, you know. But I mean, just looking at this chart, man, it's like everyone's like freaking out, and it just shows that people are just don't have a plan, right? They just like very short-sighted and like, oh man, we're gonna crash, we're gonna do this, we're rejecting, we're gonna go higher. You know, it's back and forth, right? And that's how people think. And it's funny, like when we were down here at just breaking 30K, I remember this clearly. Like it was everybody's dream to break 50K. Everyone's like, no way we break above 50K this fast. And when we had this rip here, this was the ETF day right here. Let's zoom in on that. This was the ETF approval day for Bitcoin. Ripped up, almost got to 50K, and rejected. And everyone's like, oh, that's it. We're going to crash. You know, we did pull back. We pulled back, I think, 20% about. and that dip got bought up, and then we broke through 50K. Everyone was cheering, happy we broke 50K. Now we're here at 60, almost 64K, and people are scared for their lives. It's just funny how people think in the markets. Like just seeing that and just picturing that and just seeing how the average investor thinks. If you can just really analyze that and say, okay, just a few months ago you were happy we broke 50K, but now you're scared for your life at 64. Okay. Interesting. So it's just, it's just funny, man. Like just the psychology, it becomes, and it's normal, right? It's just part of human nature. Like things get normalized as you make progress. Your mind normalizes it eventually and says, okay, this is the new normal now. 64K is the new normal. Whereas last year we were like, man, when are we ever gonna make a new all-time high, right? So that's it's always like the human mind is always looking for more, man. So that's the idea, man. But chart looks good. I think just needs more time, and the big kahuna is here up right above 70K. If we could break and hold above here, I think it's time to start levering long and could be off to the races, but we'll see. All right, so what I'm going to show is the new liquidity pool tracking tool that we've been developing. We finally launched it today, and we called it JEBB, the JEBB tracker, JEBB. Let me pull it up. Looks like this. Woo! Screen is bright. I gotta get night mode on this thing, man. All right, but this is the JEBB tracker. I mean, it looks plain Jane, right? I'm gonna post the link in the chat. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I got it right. JEBBtracker.com. Here for the tool, brother. Yes, everybody's been asking about it, man. So that's the link to the tool. It was very. We kept it. We made the highest priority was keeping it low cost to develop, and just get that data, right? Get that data for you. And we think we kept the cost pretty low for everybody. $5. It's gonna be $5 for every 3 months. So $5 a quarter or $15 yearly, and it's $5 per chain. So right now we're supporting Ethereum, Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, and Polygon. But eventually we're going to work on the rest. We're going to try it. We're working on getting Solana. But give us some time. But I think it's ready right now to launch it. And does it matter what I send the payment in? Oh yeah. Send it. It says right there. Just send $5 or $15 USDC to this wallet right here. It's already pre-filled. It's pre-filled when you get to it, and USDC, and you send it on the chain that you want it to track. So just read through this. But yeah, the idea is like send it on the chain you want it to track. So if you're like, oh, I want to track Ethereum. I just want to track my positions on Ethereum, Base, and Arbitrum. Then you send $5 on Ethereum, $5 on Base, $5 on Arbitrum, right? So $15 total. You'll have those 3 chains tracked, and there you go. Hopefully that makes sense. So just try it on one chain, check it out, and mess with it, or whatever chains you want, right? Because if you farm on multiple chains and you only pay for one chain, you're only going to see your positions for that one chain, right? So make sure you get it all so you can have a overall portfolio look. But here, so you come here, and then once you send the payment, it's every 24 hours. So every 24 hours, the database gets swept. They find new wallets that have donated, and also donate from the wallets. Donate from the wallets that you want tracked. That's very key. But it says it all right here, right? So, but if you have any issues, message me, and we could refund you back. Though if you're like, oh, I sent it from the wrong wallet or whatever, you had an issue, we'll send you back the money, right? So all good. You know, just hit me up on Discord or on Twitter. But yeah, once you send that, every 24 hours around the same time, it will do a sweep of the database to find new wallets, and then you will get added. So at worst, you're gonna have to wait at least 24 hours. But if you do it like an hour before it does the check, cool, you'll be up and running within the hour or whatever, right? But at worst, you'll wait 24 hours, and then you should have access to it. So once you get access, you know, you hit this view your performance, and then it brings up this screen. I think I answered your question, Greg. Yeah, USDC on whatever chain you want, right? Just send that. All right, so let me pull up a wallet address. That music playing, that's my AI music, man. That's what I've been doing. I've been creating music lately. The market's been boring, man. You know? The market has been sucking. All good. I just let my liquidity pools run, and that's it, man. Like that's a big thing about markets, man. Like when you're positioned and you already set up, you just let the market do the work. You know, let it do the work. Let it do the heavy lifting. You don't have to be in there every day trying to do something, right? Because most times we just fuck it up, man. You know, we just go in there and just do dumb shit. You just like, well, let me pull my money out of this position that I have a long-term view on and try to chase this meme coin. You know, that's what people do. Then they lose their ass on the meme coin. They're like, shit, let me chase this other meme coin. They lose on that. Then they lose on that. Then they lose on that. And then next thing they know, they're just like, oh, fuck. If I go back to my original long-term position, it's like not even worth it. So then they end up chasing meme coins, and then they turn into this degen, and then they start levering. They start using leverage on meme coins, and then next thing you know, they're on the fucking street, man. Homeless. Sometimes. Yeah, gotta be careful, man. Alright, so we come here, right? You see this dashboard. Drop your address in there, like that. And look how fast it's gonna do it, right? Oh, don't fuck with me now. Is it gonna work? Let me do a refresh. Let's do it again. Uh-oh. It's not working, man. It was literally just working. I don't know. Maybe it's doing its update. That's very possible, man. I don't know. Let's see, man. Use this wallet. Yeah, use this wallet, bro. Let's see. Come on, man. No, it's not pulling it up, man. Hold on, let's see, baby. Oh, wait. Yeah, I already had it up. That's why. Come on. No. Dude, I just had it up, man. And I closed it. Hold on. Yeah, let's try it again, man. I wonder if like people are overloading, because I posted it like everywhere, man. Let's see, let's try it again, dude. Let's try it again, man. I'm gonna wake up my dev dude. Bro, it's not working. Laughing my ass off. All right, I just sent him a message. Ah, man. Okay, you know what? Actually, it pulls up some data. It's like a default wallet. We'll fix the other shit later. So I'm just gonna put like 200K in here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Or even like 20K. So just kind of giving a walkthrough here, right? You have your wallet address that you'll paste here. You'll have a filter. You can filter by chain. even by pair, you could filter by. And then you can actually filter by dates. You know, you can just select the date you want, and it'll bring up the data from there. But you see how it brings it up so quickly, man. So this is the best part. Let's see questions. Hey Greg, and does it matter what I send the ping? Oh wait, yes sir, got it sending now. Okay, cool. If it doesn't work for you, I already messaged my dev, but it probably take 24 hours. I don't know if it's doing its update right now, but it's not working right now. It was literally just working like right before I started streaming. I checked it, right? But anyways, we'll see. Let me try it again. See, maybe third time's a charm. Or did I copy the address right? Let me make sure. You know, that's a very good possibility. Copy. No, that's it, man. Yeah, something's up. But anyways, so we have this already, and this is good enough to showcase what it does, right? So yeah, you could enter your initial starting capital. This is kind of like, this is like your whole portfolio value when you started LPing, right? You can put that in there. You could either do that, or you can go to your average initial capital, which shows that's how much you invested on average per position. So you could do, okay, I invested 80,500, right? So we could just do that. And it'll adjust the numbers for you. But it's super quick, man. That's the beauty of it. Like a lot of the other tools that have been out there, you know, like APY Vision. Those guys are amazing. I work with Buck. Right now they're developing their archive protocol. Can't wait to see what it's like when it comes out, but I'm helping them beta test it. But the big pain point with APY Vision was the loading times. It took forever to load, right? That's how demos go. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, of course. But yeah, like APY Vision was like super just slow, and just the loading time, right? So they're rebuilding it from the ground up, which is great. So I can't wait to see what they do. But I got tired of waiting, and one of my members was like, "Hey, I can pull the data. I can do this. I can do that." I'm like, dude, like, if we can build something cool like that, just at least that shows us our numbers without having to manually track it, amazing. It'd be great. This would be great for people that, especially like newer traders that just really want to track their progress as they get, as they improve and hone and develop their strategy, right? Because honestly, like right now, you just provide liquidity. You see the APRs, you see the yield coming in, and it can really blind you of what's really going on in the back end, because as you're transacting, you're swapping, you're staking liquidity, removing liquidity, swapping again, moving to different positions. You have no idea if you're outperforming that guy on the couch that's sitting on the couch eating Chipotle and Cheetos and just doing nothing, and if he's outperforming you and you're doing all this work LPing, that's a problem. And it's very important to recognize that early on so you can fix it, right? And that's what this tool will do for you. It'll provide you the data so you can recognize and be like, holy shit, I'm fucking up, right? I'm fucking up, and I need to fix something. All right, so as you can see here, you can see the total gain, 22,900 has been earned since July of 2022. And you can see here, like, the cumulative gain or loss, which is the orange line. You can see it had the dip here in 2023, then 2024, and then total yield collected, shows that. But you can see your ROI, 28%. Average LP fee APR. This is how much you're earning in yield, on average, right? So that's you're earning 111% here. So you'll see that. And then here, the yearly performance projections. this just shows, okay, if I continue this behavior, what could I possibly gain or lose over the next year from today? And there you go. You earn 10 grand from now until over the next year. And then that's your estimated yearly ROI, you know, based on that. Then you come down, liquidity pool performance. Greg, all right, sent for 2 chains, gonna try out for 1 quarter to start. Great, man. Let me know, give me feedback. For sure, if there's things you want to see, if you're like, oh, I wish I could see this or that, just let us know, man. We'll try to get it for you. So here, the liquidity pool performance shows you, okay, how much on average is your position on the initial and the exit. So here it's showing on average I'm depositing more than I'm exiting. So the total liquidity pool P&L with no yield, right? It's just the P&L of the liquidity pool, right? So it's just purely price action, you know, and you know and this is the P&L, right? Minus $181,000. You're like, holy shit, man! I'm down 181K. Wow. Average P&L per LP minus $97, and this is simply, it could be from price action of the assets. This is not my wallet, so it's just the stock wallet that pops up. I wasn't able to pull up my wallet, so but yeah, so it's showing an average P&L per LP minus $97.81 per LP. Estimated P&L over the next year, you'll lose another $79,000 if the performance continues in this manner, right? But you know, historical performance doesn't equal future performance and all that jazz. You know how it goes. So just kind of giving you an idea, right? All right, so here you have the yield performance. How much yield have we earned? All right, $204,000 total yield collected. So that eclipsed that loss. Now, see, that $181,000 loss is mostly from price action going down. Now, what we're going to see later is the impermanent loss. So, if they're managing their impermanent loss, if they're managing their impermanent loss, well, let me just turn on some music, man. If you're managing your impermanent loss correctly and you're minimizing it, oh my God, you're in for a glorious upswing. Because say you're taking this yield and you're just stacking it away, right? You just take the yield and stack it and just create a hodl position, or even other LPs to generate yield for you. Who knows what this wallet's doing, right? And if you're controlling or minimizing or even eliminating impermanent loss to get into an impermanent gain, which is the opposite of impermanent loss. And I've shown it on some of my previous videos. If you look at my previous videos where I talk about, you know what, let me just pull up my channel real quick. And I'll just show you, like, if you guys want to check it out. I might as well, right? I think it's in the videos here. Maximize your liquidity pool's earnings. No, it's in the live stream. Didn't make sure. Yeah, it's got to be in the live stream. So it's one of these live streams. Here, impermanent gain trade right here. This is the one. So let me just share it in the chat. This one you got to watch, and you'll see how I've shown my real position, how I went and LP'd Ethereum and USDC, that pair, and went into impermanent gain, which means that when price drew down and it came back to my original stake price, and at the original stake price, the hodler would be break even, but I was in profit, and that's without yield. So the yield on top of that is just the bonus, right? Like, this is extra profit, right? So it's profit on profit. The drawback to that is that there's more risk being taken. But watch the video. It's very good to watch. All right, so let's go back here. So yeah, so if you have all this yield, now you get that upswing and you have no impermanent loss. You get back up to break even here. The hodler will be break even, but you'll be up at least 204,000 if you just had this in stables. But if you had some, if you bought some Ethereum or whatever in here, it'd be more, right? And that's the idea, man. So when you're providing liquidity, kind of going on a little tangent here, but it's very important to understand for liquidity providers. If you're providing liquidity, you have to think. You can't. It's kind of like you think how a trader is acting, but you see an opportunity taking the other side of that trade. So let me say that again. You like say a trader is like, I think I should be buying here, right? And you see that from a trader's perspective, but you see it from the opposite side, because a liquidity provider always takes the opposite side of a trade, right? So if price is trending up, that means there's buyers in the tape, right? Just buying up and taking all that liquidity. If you're a liquidity provider in that, you're saying, well, I'm a seller of this price action on the way up, right? So you think how a trader thinks, but then you got to think how it's going to benefit you on the opposite, taking the opposite side. And you look for those like extreme levels or liquidation events, because the liquidation event, like say going here to August 5th here, this was a liquidation event, right? Let's bring it to a daily. Look at that candle, right? Liquidations. Now, if your position, your liquidity is in here, you know, say you set up a liquidity pool and you're like, you know what? If we break below this, there should be some liquidations, right? It's, you know, if we break below 50K, that's a big number. People are watching that. People have stops there. A lot of eyes on there. People may short at that at 50K, trying to take a quick scalp. People that are long would say, "Oh my God, bull market is over. Let me get out." They stop out. That's the liquidation event, right? But if you're in that as a liquidity provider, everyone's taking your liquidity, exchanging it. It's a bulls versus bears battling, right? That's where they're congregating and meeting and doing transactions. It's like a Black Friday sale. People just want to get out at any price. Smart bulls are like, you know what? Let me buy this shit up, man. Look at this liquidation. Let me take some. So that creates fees for you as a liquidity provider. Huge fees. Like during this event, I was in a super wide liquidity pool. Like my upper end of the range on Ethereum USDC was, I think, $20K, $20,000 price, and then it was like the lower end was like $1,900. Super wide range, but I was still seeing like thousands of percent in APR during that time because it was so much volume, man. It's crazy. It was crazy. Not only there was so much volume, but there was low liquidity. A lot of liquidity providers were taking out their liquidity, or they were just out of range because their liquidity was at a higher range. You know, when all this selling was going on, all that selling ate through all that liquidity on, let's go to Ethereum, on Ethereum. And I was looking at the liquidity distribution chart, and anything below 2,600, there was a ton of liquidity between 2,600 and like 3,500. Tons of liquidity. But below 2,600, dropped off like a cliff, man. There was no liquidity. So very little players provide liquidity, which means you get high volume with low liquidity. I get a larger piece of the pie as a liquidity provider, where people that don't know what they're doing, they're just running for the hills. Now I'm sitting there like, oh shit, man, I'm getting fucking paid in this. You have a long-term mindset and you think, okay, let me just fucking earn these fees, thousands of percent. Give me all that, pay me out, right? And then you just let it go, man, and you stack it, right? And you stack it, and you look for those events over and over and over. Whereas the average liquidity provider that's new and doesn't really know what they're doing, they're like freaking out and getting out, right? They're taking the loss, but they're not they're not seeing the opportunity here. So that's key. But anyways, back to the tool. So we have, so this is the yield performance, total yield collected, average yield per day, and all this will get can be changed, you know, depending on the amount of capital you put in here, the date range, the pairs, if you want to filter by pair and chain. So just letting you know. So this is how much on average per day you're earning, $245 per day in yield. Pretty good since 2022. That's amazing. And then average yield per LP, $230. That's like per stake, you know, how much you're earning per stake in yield. And then the amount of yield you've earned versus your average deposit, which your deposit here is 80K, right? Average here, 80K, 80.5. So you're earning a 253% return in yield. And then the estimated yield for over the next year, you could earn another $89,000 to $90,000, right? If things just stay as they are. But that's not even the best of it. See any questions? That's not even the best of it. Let me see. Let me just check for questions here for a second. Let's see if this thing is working now. I really want to like show my wallet, yeah? Let's see, do I still have it saved? No, I don't. Well, 1 second, let me pull this up. Cross your fingers. Bam! There it goes. Now it's back up. Okay, it must have been doing the update. So, Greg, maybe you got in just in time, dude. You might want to check and see if it works for you. So that's the average capital here, 76. So we're going to put 77,000. Boom. Numbers should adjust. So there you go. So this is my personal, like this is a vault that I run on Enzyme. And this is my performance, right? Like I literally just pulled it up live for you. That's one thing too. Like if you want to vet somebody and you're like, you know what? You know, there's a lot of DeFi guys out there, right? So if you're like, I think I'm the only guy out there that shows my P&L, shows all my positions, shows everything I do. I just leave it all out there, man. I'm showing exactly what I do. Gains, losses, all that shit. And this is, so if you want to vet somebody, you're like, you know what? Are you really as good as you say you are? Give them the JEBB tracker. Be like, just put your wallet in here. I want to see proof that you're good. Show me. Let's see who steps up to the plate, right? Woohoo. You know, not nobody's doing it, man. You know? I mean, okay. Now, that goes to say, like, not everybody is a great trader, right? Not everyone can trade, right? But there's a lot of smart people out there. And people that can teach and show you the ropes and understand how it works. You know, there could be some value in that. But if you know, I mean, if you want somebody that does it, that shows it, that knows the nuances and how to develop a strategy and how, you know, and that's been around the block, man. Like I've been trading since 2009, since the great financial crisis, man. So I've seen a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit. A lot of losses, a lot of mistakes. You live and learn, hopefully survive, and then eventually realize, okay, I don't need to spend 10 hours a day on charts. You know, I could just like staring at charts, you know. It's all about 10,000 hours, not staring at charts, but executing and finally finding like a strategy that fits you. You know, you could be in there day in, day out, every hour, scalping, trading, right, on a very active basis, or you could take a more laid back approach. There's no right or wrong answer, right? It all depends, like how much time you have available. You know, that's very important. That really determines if you have to really force the amount of time, or force how much time, or just take time away from other things to like trade actively, it's not sustainable. It's kind of like if you want to lose some weight, right? And you're like, oh, I want to lose some weight, so I'm going to eat some chicken and broccoli for a month. Great. You lost like 5-10 pounds. You're feeling good, but then your trainer's like, well, that's great and all, but if you want to keep it up and you want to get to single digit body fat, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to eat chicken and broccoli, make it a lifestyle. I'm like, oh shit, man. I don't know. Or if he's like, you got to do it for the next 6 months to get into single digit body fat. If you want to do it within the next 6 months, you got to eat this day in, day out. No slacking, right? Whew, most people can't do it, right? Because it's not sustainable for most people. Some people just have that drive and they can do it, right? And that's okay. Now, say if your trainer's like, well, okay, if that doesn't work for you, then maybe you could eat what you want, but then track your macros, right? Make sure you're just getting at least this much protein per day, and get this much protein, and make sure you're staying below this amount of calories per day. And you could take as long as you want. You know, maybe in a year or two, you'll be down to your perfect weight. You're like, oh shit, I get to eat what I want as long as I eat this much, and then spend some and just let time work for me. Then okay, that could work for me. Same like trading. That's like, like the first case of eating chicken and broccoli for 6 months. That's like the day trader, right? Like in and out, like that's their thing, right? Not everybody can do that. Now you could be like, okay, well, I prefer a more laid back approach, more passive, kind of like longer term, right? That's like how trading is, man. So you got to find the strategy that fits your lifestyle. Don't force the strategy and try to jam it into your lifestyle and making your lifestyle fit around it, because it's not going to work. It's not sustainable. All right, went on a little rant there, but it's very important to recognize that, because a lot of people think that oh my God, in order to make they have these thoughts, especially newer traders or investors, right? And it's very important to realize this early on, that it's a self discovery. It really is. And determining, okay, what works best for me, and then surviving long enough, making small mistakes to the point where like, okay, I'm starting to get this. I know what to do. I know what it takes. I'm starting to get the gist and starting to get into this rhythm, right? That's the idea, man. Yeah, nothing yet, or I'm doing it wrong. Okay, yeah, it probably hasn't updated for you yet. Then I'll find out. But at worst, wait 24 hours. If it doesn't work, yeah, hit me up on Discord, man, for sure, and then we'll get you fixed. We'll get you fixed up. Oh yeah, let me hit my dev up back. Let them know it's working. Okay, it's working now. Thanks. All right. So here's my vault that I run. And this is our performance since 2022. I actually started it in December of 2022. So we'll go here so we get a little bit more accurate numbers. Nothing really changed. But yeah, December 2022 till today. And this is the performance of it. I've earned 93 grand on an average stake of about 77,000. Okay. My returns 121% in yield, or just like total yield and LP performance. Average LP fee APR 81%. So earning an average of 82% APR. And then here's the LP performance. I still haven't gotten to the impermanent loss part, so that is the top. But anyways, here's the numbers here. Down 20K in my LP performance without yield, right? And you can see how yield can really look at this down here, 113,000 in yield. That's the beauty of providing liquidity. If you can control the impermanent loss, the rest will work itself out. Chasing APRs, trying to get the highest APRs, getting your ranges tight. If you're like, oh my God, I'm only getting 50% APR. Let me tighten it up to get 100%. And then you get blown out of the range and take on tons of impermanent loss. Is it really worth it? No, it's not. Usually it's not. So it's kind of like you're trading, right? So anyways, I could talk all day about providing liquidity, man. This is like, I fucking love this shit, right? So so total yield collected 113,000. Average yield per LP $613. That's actually pretty good. I didn't know I was doing that good. And then yield versus average deposit, 147%. That's the yield versus how much I've staked, and then the estimated yield. But here, this is the main event. Performance versus HODL. Like, how are your efforts doing versus somebody? Now the idea here is that when you stake your LP, the hodler is buying those assets as well in the same ratio, and then when you sell it or unstake, they sell their position, right? So that's the hodler. The hodler is not, it's not like they just buy it and then they just hold for life and then you're trying to beat them. That's like an apples versus oranges comparison, right? Like, that's a totally different strategy, right? It's just buy and hold. That's buy and hold. This is like trading. If you were trading this instead of LPing it, put it that way. So how are you doing? Is your LP efforts worth it, or would you have been better off just trading in this manner, right? Well, let's see here. Well, my LP performance with yield versus the hodler. So I've made an extra on top of the $93,000 I've made an extra $15,000 versus the hodler. And then the LP versus hodl performance, that's just this number divided by the investment, right? So made an extra 20% in gains versus someone that's hodling, right? Versus the trader. And then here's the impermanent loss with no yield. So this is my performance if I didn't add yield, right? Minus 98,000. Now, this is key here. I'm taking on like little to no. I'm like in an impermanent gain right now. So if I hold all that yield and my positions as they are, and then we get back up to where like all this loss gets back to zero, I recoup that 98K. That's on top of the yield I've earned, right? So that would be ideal. And then the estimated 1 year projection versus HODL, like an extra $8,000, $8,500, right? So any questions? We'll do. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll Greg, okay, cool, man. Yeah, nothing yet. Hopefully y'all will have Solana soon. Yeah, we're working on that, so hopefully we'll get it. We'll see. We're working on that for sure, though. That'd be nice. But yeah, so there it is, man. Like, so what you do here, and you see this, and you're like, oh, okay. In this case, okay, I'm doing well, right? I'm doing great. But if this was LP performance with yield versus HODL, if this was a negative number, there's something wrong with your process. You're either rebalancing and getting too tight in your ranges, or not respecting your geometric mean, right? Very important to respect the geometric mean. And you're like, geometric mean, what? All it is like your initial stake price. Like, say you stake your original liquidity 50-50, and the value of your liquidity pool was 100, like say 10K at an Ethereum price of 3,500. Now price is down to what, 2640. So you're down, right? But what it's saying here, like if this was negative, is saying, well, if price were to go back to 3,500, if this was negative, you'd probably be at a loss, right? And depending how bad this loss is, can determine how severe and how critical your process needs to be improved in order to fix that. And no tool out there is going to show you that. And the thing is that this shows you that because you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it like with, there's no tool out there that's going to show you this, right? So on your portfolio, you're like, oh, you're just farming, and you're like, oh yeah, man. Like say this was minus 50K, right? And you're sitting here like, oh yeah, like you've been tracking the yield you're earning, right? Just manually, you're like, oh man, I've earned 113,000. I'm making bank. Great, I'm doing great. But little do you know, you don't even know what your total gain is because you're not taking in fact of all the data, all the, you know, just adding all the metrics and figuring out, okay, well I've earned. Maybe you're like, okay, maybe you did track it. And you're like, okay, I've earned 93,000. Okay, great. But if this was negative, this number here, there's room for improvement. That's all I'm saying. Yes, you could be positive here. But if this is negative, that's showing there's room for improvement. That's all I'm saying. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, what is the right number? Honestly, anywhere around 0%. If this is 0% and this balance here is around 0, you're doing great. You're doing fine. You don't have to beat the hodler, right? At the very least, you should be like matching the performance, right? But then you got to think at 0, right? At 0% and at a 0 balance here, right here, at the LP performance with yield versus hodl, if that's 0, okay, you're not doing bad. But the hodler is not doing anything. He's not spending, him or her is not spending any energy to trade the market. Whereas you're here yield farming and doing all this shit and you're just matching the performance of them. The idea is to kind of, to at least be in some sort of profit, right? But if this is negative, bad. It's just bad, man, because you're doing all this work and the hodler is like, he's doing better than you and doing nothing. So really internalize that and think about it over and over, right? Just be like, okay, when you see your numbers, it's really going to be eye-opening. So let's see. Any questions here? If not, let me just go back to the. Let's see, we got. Oh, we can't see the screen. Okay, yeah. All right. So, all right. I think that's about it, man. I think that's good enough. How long have we been streaming for? Probably about an hour. So I think that's good enough. I don't want to take it too long. People just drop out. But thanks again for joining. Check it out. Check it out. I'll have all the links in the description after this. I'm gonna edit the description, add the links, and then you can check it out for yourself, man. It's perfect. All right, or it's not perfect, but there's definitely room for improvement. But it's perfect that we finally got something like this to really see how we're doing in the markets, right? Because you simply just cannot improve. You can't improve your performance if you don't know what's going on. Show me a high performing team or any high performing team in history that has not improved based on reviewing their tape, right? Like football players like Tom Brady, right? He watches the tape of how he played every game, right? Day in, day out. He watches and looks for mistakes and fixes it. And those little adjustments over the years eventually adds up, man. Might not add up in one trade, but over time it adds up. It's the long game in mind, man. That's how you just keep getting better and better and better, and the more time you put in to develop it, the better. All right, guys. I am going to call it here. Let me make sure here we got some questions. Greg, hopefully, okay, it will be interesting to see how I'm doing and be able to adjust accordingly. Yes, check it out. Post it in the chat. And then see. I'll give you some feedback. Does it update more than once a day? it updates. It pulls all your closed position data. It's only closed exited positions, right? So any open positions it won't track, just the closed ones. So once you close it, then you could run the tracker and it'll pull the data. Simple as that. Oh, you mean I'm thinking maybe you mean for the when you subscribe. No, it's only once a day right now. You know, we're trying to keep it like very low cost. So it's a once a day thing. So give it another 24 hours, you should be good. Why does the date only go until 9/22/24? Oh, well that's a good question, man. That is a good question, man. It's September 30th right now. Here, let's see. You know, maybe that's my last it's possible that's my last update on my position. Let's see. Will it show here? You can see the data here. Let's look at position open. Let's see close. Yeah, 9/22 right here. That's why. That's why, because that's my last close position. So it doesn't show anything. I haven't done anything since. I haven't closed anything. I haven't done anything since the 22nd. So that's why. That is why. Let's see. It won't go further than that on my end either. Are you able to see your data? Are you able to pull up is your wallet working now? Let's see. It could be this one. This is the one, right? Let's see. If you go all the way down, thank you, sir, and have a great night. Okay. All right, Greg. Yeah, I know it's past your bedtime. It's past mine. I gotta get sleep too, man. All right, but thanks for joining, man. Even though it's just you, there'll be more people that will see this. But yeah, spread the word if you like the check out the tool. Give me feedback, and then we'll make any tweaks and anything we need to do to fix it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. And I will see you guys. Just hit me up in Discord. That's where I'll be. See ya. Peace.